Welcome back to the rarest coins. If you're into coin collecting, rare finds, or hidden treasures that could be sitting in your pocket right now, then you're going to love today's video. We're talking about a coin that looks ordinary but has captured the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters everywhere. The 1966 Washington quarter. Some people are saying this quarter could be worth as much as $1.8 million. That's right. A coin you might overlook every single day could actually be worth more than a house, a Ferrari, or even a lifetime of paychecks. So what's the truth? Is there really a 1966 quarter that's worth nearly $2 million? What should you be looking for? And how did this coin become such a legend? Let's dive into the story. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. It featured a profile of Washington on the front and an eagle on the back. From that point forward, it became one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. Now let's fast forward to 1966. This year was part of a very important transition in U.S. coinage history. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped producing silver quarters for circulation. Rising silver prices had made it too expensive to keep making coins with 90% silver. So in 1965, 1966, and beyond, quarters were made with a new copper-nickel clad composition. The silver quarters were gone, and a new era of coinage had begun. But here's where things get interesting. The years 1965 through 1967 were unusual for another reason too. During this period, the U.S. Mint did not use mint marks on coins. So while the 1966 Washington quarter was produced at multiple mint facilities, such as Philadelphia and Denver, the coin has no mint mark to tell you where it was struck. This was done to discourage coin hoarding, which was becoming a problem due to silver coins being pulled from circulation by collectors and the general public. Now let's talk numbers. In 1966, over 821 million Washington quarters were minted. That's a huge number. So by that statistic alone, the 1966 quarter might not seem rare. In fact, it's a coin that many people still have lying around. You can even find it in circulation today. So how on earth could this coin be worth $1.8 million? That brings us to the viral stories and internet rumors. Over the last few years, videos and articles have popped up online claiming that a rare version of the 1966 quarter has sold for as much as $1.8 million. The story is that a coin with a rare mint error or a special strike somehow ended up being sold to a high-end collector for a staggering price. But is there any truth to this? Let's clear it up. As of now, there is no official or verified record from any of the major auction houses confirming a public sale of a 1966 quarter for $1.8 million. No listings on heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections show a confirmed sale at that level. So chances are, this million-dollar claim is based on either a misunderstanding, an exaggerated report, or just pure internet hype. However, that does not mean the 1966 quarter can't be worth serious money. In fact, it can, and in some cases, it has sold for thousands of dollars. The key lies in two things: condition and errors. Let's start with condition. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. A coin graded mint state 67 or higher is considered to be in near-perfect condition. That means it has never been circulated, shows no signs of wear, and has full original luster. Finding a 1966 Washington quarter in this kind of condition is extremely rare. Most coins from this era were heavily circulated and show wear on Washington's cheek, the hair, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. If you do happen to have a 1966 quarter in pristine uncirculated condition, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the grade. In fact, a 1966 quarter graded MS-67 by PCGS has sold for over $2,000. Higher grades, although incredibly rare, could push that value even higher. Now let's talk about errors. And this is where things get really exciting. The 1966 quarter is known to have some interesting mint errors. These include off-center strikes, double dies, and coins struck on the wrong planchets. One of the most sought-after versions is a 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet by mistake. Although silver quarters were officially discontinued after 1964, there are rumors and reports that a very small number of 1,966 quarters may have been mistakenly struck on leftover silver blanks from earlier years. If you were to find one of these, a genuine 1966 quarter on a silver planchet, it could be worth thousands potentially tens of thousands, depending on its condition and confirmation by a grading company. Other valuable errors include quarters with die clashes, off-metal strikes, and missing edge reads. Each of these types of mint errors can dramatically raise the value of an otherwise ordinary coin. If you have a 1966 quarter and it looks strange in any way, the image is off-center, the rim is odd, the metal looks different, get it checked by a professional. So what should you do if you have a 1966 Washington quarter? Step 1. Check the date. Make sure it's a 1966 quarter with no mint mark. Step 2. Look at the condition. If it looks new, shiny, and shows no signs of wear, it might be uncirculated. That's your first clue it could be worth more than 25 cents. Step 3. Examine it for any errors. If anything about the coin looks off, the lettering, the strike, the rim, or the color, it might be a rare variety. Step 4. If you believe your coin is special, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade will help you determine its real market value. And if it's something extraordinary, collectors will pay top dollar for it. So, is the 1966 Washington quarter worth $1.8 million? Realistically, no. That number is not backed by any confirmed sale or legitimate source. But the hype has a purpose. It gets people interested. It gets them checking their coins. And that's a good thing, because there really are 1966 quarters out there that are worth serious money, just not quite in the $1 million range. In the world of coin collecting, the thrill is in the hunt. You never know when a rare gem will show up in a roll of quarters, in a family coin jar, or even in your pocket change. And that's what makes it exciting. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more content on valuable coins, rare errors, and money you might already own. And leave a comment below if you've ever found a 1966 quarter or if you're currently searching for one. Thanks for watching. And until next time, keep checking your change, because one small coin could lead to one big surprise. Let me know if you'd like a version tailored for shorts, TikTok, or script cues for visual editing and voiceover pacing. Welcome back to the channel. If you're into coins, collectibles, or just curious about what's hiding in your spare change, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Rarest coins. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1979 Washington quarter, a coin that some claim could be worth as much as $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.5 million. So let's break down the history, the facts, the hype, and whether your 1979 quarter could actually be worth a fortune. So let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, and the design stuck. The obverse, or the front of the coin, features the profile of George Washington, while the reverse originally showed an eagle with outstretched wings. The designer was John Flanagan, and this design remained in place all the way until the State Quarters series began in 1999. Now, fast forward to 1979. The quarter from this year looks pretty standard at first glance. It's made from a copper nickel clad, not silver. It weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. In other words, it's just your average quarter. Or is it? The 1979 quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, and the D mint mark can be found on the front of the coin to the right of Washington's ponytail. Over 489 million of these coins were produced, so in general, they're not considered rare. You can find them in circulation, in coin rolls, and even in junk coin lots. So what's the deal? Why is this coin suddenly being talked about as potentially being worth over $1 million? Here's where it gets interesting. In the world of coin collecting, rarity and value are about much more than just how many were made. It's about mint errors, condition, demand, and the story behind the coin. Some 1979 quarters are reported to have extremely rare die errors, off-center strikes, or other minting mistakes that can drive up their value. But even those rare error coins typically sell for hundreds or thousands, not millions. Where does the $1.5 million claim come from? Some online articles and videos have circulated claiming that a 1979 Washington quarter sold for over $1 million at auction. But here's the truth. There is no confirmed sale of a 1979 quarter for that amount through any major auction house like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. It's more likely that this million-dollar claim comes from a misunderstanding or an internet myth, possibly clickbait. That being said, there are versions of this coin that have fetched impressive prices due to being in near-perfect condition. For example, a 1979 D Washington quarter graded MS68 by PCGS. That's mint state 68 out of a possible 70, has sold for over $3,000. That's still a far cry from 1.5 million. But for a modern coin that's very common, that's a serious premium. Only a tiny number of coins from this year and mint survive in such pristine condition that what should you be looking for? If you have a 1979 D Washington quarter, first check the overall condition. If it looks like it just came out of a mint roll, sharp details, no scratches, full luster, it might be worth sending in for grading. Look for any unusual features too. Is the strike off center? Are there doubling effects on the date or letters? Any cracks or cuds on the surface? These can all raise the value of the coin significantly. Error coins are extremely collectible and can sell for hundreds or thousands depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. It's also worth checking auction sites and coin grading companies to compare your coin. Sites like PCGS and NGC maintain population reports and price guides that can give you an idea of what similar coins have sold for. Now let's circle back for a second to the $1.5 million number. Is it possible for any 1979 D quarter to be worth that much? Technically, yes, but only under extremely rare circumstances. If a unique error was discovered, something like a double denomination where a quarter was struck over a different coin, and it was the only known example, and if it got attention from the right collectors at the right time, then the sky's the limit. But again, no such coin has ever officially sold for that amount as of now. The bottom line is this. Most 1979 D quarters are worth 25 cents. A small percentage in brilliant, uncirculated condition are worth a few dollars. A rare handful in mint state 67 or higher could be worth hundreds to a few thousand. And error coins, depending on the type, can sell for significantly more. But the million-dollar coin? So far, that's more legend than reality. Still, it never hurts to check your change. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. That 1979 D quarter you've had in your drawer for decades might not make you a millionaire, but it could still be a hidden treasure. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more coin facts and money mysteries, and leave a comment below if you've got a 1979 D quarter or any other rare coin stories to share. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like this adjusted into a more energetic style or broken into segments with visuals or timestamps. Welcome back to the channel. If you love coin collecting, hidden treasures, or just enjoy stories about everyday items that could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. Rarest coins. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about coins from the early 1980s, the 1982 D Washington quarter. Some say this coin is worth as much as $1.3 million. That's right, 1.3 million. So let's get into the history, the facts, and whether or not this coin hiding in your pocket change could actually make you a millionaire. Let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. It was introduced to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, and the design has become iconic. On the front, you've got the profile of George Washington, and the original reverse design, which remained until 1998, shows a bald eagle with its wings spread. These quarters are struck in copper nickel unless we're talking about special silver-proof versions, but the ones in regular circulation, like the 1982 D, are standard clad coins. Now here's where it gets interesting. 1982 was a unique year for U.S. coinage. The U.S. Mint faced budget constraints and made a major decision. They stopped producing uncirculated mint sets for collectors. This means that fewer pristine examples of coins from this year were saved compared to other years. As a result, coins from 1982, especially in high grade, are harder to find in perfect condition. That alone gives the 1982 D Washington quarter a bit of a bump in potential value. The D on the coin stands for the Denver Mint, which produced over 480 million Washington quarters in 1982. So at first glance, it might not seem rare. But here's what separates valuable 1982 D quarters from the average ones in your pocket. Let's talk about condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. Most 1982 D quarters you'll find have been in circulation and are in poor to average shape, worth face value. But if you happen to come across one in mint state condition, and we're talking MS-67 or MS-68, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's because very few high-grade examples exist from this year due to the lack of official mint sets. Now let's get to the real buzz, the claim that one of these coins sold for $1.3 million. This story has been making the rounds online, on social media, and even in some news articles. But is it true? Here's what we know. There is currently no verified public auction record of a 1982 D Washington quarter selling for over $1 million. Reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have handled plenty of high-value coins, but none have confirmed a $1.3 million sale for a regular 1982 D quarter to S. Oh, where did this number come from? Most likely, it's a result of a misunderstanding or internet hype. Some websites and videos tend to exaggerate or misreport coin prices to draw attention. That said, there are rare varieties and error coins from 1982 D that have sold for a lot of money. Not millions, but definitely more than face value. One example to watch for is the 1982 D with a missing mint mark, which technically applies more to dimes than quarters, but has confused collectors. Another thing to look out for is strike errors. That could include off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. If you find a 1982 D quarter with any of these features, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds or even thousands depending on the type of error. Now here's a little-known fact. In 1982, the U.S. Mint also changed the way they struck the design details on coins. The planchets were sometimes lower quality, and as a result, many coins came out with weak strikes or softer details. That makes well-struck examples from this year even more valuable, because they're harder to find. If you're wondering what to do with a 1982 D Washington quarter that looks flawless, your best bet is to have it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade your coin. If your coin comes back as MS-67 or higher, you could be looking at a few $100s minimum. In extremely rare cases, coins graded MS-68 or with special errors could sell for a few thousand at auction. Let's be clear though, $1 million price tag is not the norm for this coin. But that doesn't mean you should ignore it. With the right error or the perfect condition, your 1982 D quarter could still be a serious collector's item. So what should you look for? First, check the date and the mint mark. Make sure it says 1982 and has a D for the Denver Mint. Second, check the condition. Does it have a sharp strike? Is it shiny and free of scratches or dings? If it looks uncirculated, it's worth getting checked. Third, look for errors. Anything that looks unusual, double lettering, off-center design, missing elements, or even a wrong metal color, could be a rare error. And lastly, always compare your coin to images from reputable coin sites. You can also search auction results from certified grading companies or marketplaces like eBay to see what similar coins have sold for recently. To wrap it up, the 1982 D Washington quarter is a common coin with uncommon potential. While most are worth face value, the right one in mint state or with a unique error could be worth hundreds, maybe thousands. And while the story of a $1.3 million quarter hasn't been verified, it keeps the excitement alive because you never know what could be hiding in your pocket change. If you've got a 1982 D quarter, take a closer look. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or are on the hunt for one. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep searching because treasure is out there. Let me know if you'd like to turn this into a short version, break it up into visual scenes, or add tips for beginners starting out with coin collecting. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're into coin collecting, treasure hunting, or just curious about whether some of the spare change in your pocket could be worth a fortune, you're going to want to stick around for this video. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1990 P Washington quarter. There are claims floating around that this simple-looking coin could be worth as much as $1.2 million. That's right, $1.2 million for a coin you might walk past without a second glance. Is there any truth to it? Could your 1990 P quarter be worth life-changing money? Or is this just another internet rumor? Let's find out. Let's begin with a little history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It featured a portrait of Washington on the front, or obverse, and an eagle with spread wings on the back, or reverse. That eagle design remained unchanged for decades until the state quarters program launched in 1999. Now fast forward to the year 1990. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 613 million Washington quarters that year, and those coins all bear the small p mint mark on the obverse. That mint mark is located to the right of Washington's ponytail, just below the word, "In God We Trust." On the surface, the 1990 P quarter looks like any other coin. It's made of a copper-nickel clad composition, weighs 5.67 grams, and has a reeded edge. With hundreds of millions minted, it doesn't sound like something you'd expect to be valuable. But here's where things get interesting. There's a rumor going around that one of these 1990 P quarters sold for $1.2 million. That number has caught a lot of attention online, with some videos and articles claiming that a rare variety of this coin exists, and it made someone rich overnight. But is it true? Let's break it down. First, the claim that a 1990 P Washington quarter sold for $1.2 million is not supported by any verified records from reputable auction houses. Major platforms like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have no record of such a sale. So while the headline might sound exciting, we need to be cautious about believing it without real evidence. That being said, not all 1990 P quarters are created equal. While most are worth face value, there are certain examples that are worth significantly more. And here's why. There are three key factors that can make a 1990 P Washington quarter valuable. First is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the more perfect the coin. A coin graded MS67 or MS68, that's mint state 67 or higher, is extremely well preserved, with sharp details and no signs of wear. These high-grade coins are rare because most coins from circulation are scratched, worn, or dinged up. A 1990 P quarter graded MS67 or MS68 can sell for hundreds, and in some cases, over $1,000. Second is rarity in the form of mint errors. A mint error happens when something goes wrong during the coin's production. It could be an off-center strike, a double die, a clipped planchet, or even a coin struck on the wrong metal. These kinds of errors can be extremely valuable, especially if they're dramatic or unique. A 1990 P quarter with a major error could sell for hundreds or even thousands, depending on how rare the error is. One of the most famous mint errors involves coins struck on foreign planchets or experimental metal blanks. If a 1990 P quarter was somehow struck on a planchet mint for a different denomination or a foreign coin, that would make it an extremely rare piece. In theory, that could push a coin into the 5 or even 6-figure price range. But again, such examples are extremely rare and must be verified through professional grading services. The third thing to look for is demand from collectors. Some collectors are looking for the best possible example of every year and mint mark. If your 1990 P quarter happens to be one of the highest graded examples known to exist, there could be competition among buyers that drives the price up dramatically. That's where big auction results come from. Not just rarity, but demand. So what about that $1.2 million rumor? At this point, there's no hard evidence that any 1990 P quarter has sold for that amount. It's likely the result of exaggerated headlines or misinterpreted auction results. Still, that doesn't mean the coin is worthless. Quite the opposite. If you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition or with a significant mint error, it could still be worth real money, just not quite in the $1 million range. Now let's talk about what you should do if you think you have a valuable 1990 P quarter. Start by checking the coin's condition. If it looks shiny and untouched, with full detail and no wear, it might be worth getting it graded. Companies like PCGS and NGC can give you an official grade, which helps prove your coin's value to collectors and buyers. Next, look for anything unusual. Is the image off-center? Are the letters doubled? Does the metal look strange or different from other quarters? Any of these could point to a mint error. Also, compare your coin to images and sales records online. Websites like PCGS Price Guide, Namista, and recent eBay listings can give you an idea of what similar coins are selling for. If your coin looks like it has potential, you might want to take it to a coin dealer or local coin show. Just make sure you're working with someone reputable who won't undervalue your find. To wrap it up, the 1990 P. Washington quarter is a coin most people would consider ordinary. And for the most part, that's true. But in high grade or with the right kind of error, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The stories about a $1.2 million coin might be overblown, but they do highlight something important. Valuable coins are still out there, and sometimes they're sitting in your pocket or in a forgotten jar at home. So keep an eye out. You never know when a simple quarter could turn out to be a hidden gem. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips and coin value breakdowns, and let us know in the comments if you've ever come across a rare coin or if you're searching for one right now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting. If you'd like help turning this into a short version, adding visuals, or using it as a voiceover for video editing, I can help you with that too. Welcome back to the rarest coins. If you love coin collecting, finding hidden treasures in your pocket change, or just enjoy incredible stories about everyday items turning into fortune, you're going to want to watch this one all the way through. Today, we're taking a close look at one of the most talked about modern coins, the 1979 D. Washington quarter. There's a rumor going around that this coin could be worth as much as $1.4 million. That's right, $1.4 million. But is it true? What's the history behind this coin? And could you actually have one sitting in your home without even knowing it? Let's start with the background of this coin. The Washington quarter was introduced back in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the quarter quickly became one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. On the front, or obverse, you have the bust of Washington facing left, with the word liberty above his head and the phrase "In God We Trust" to the left. On the reverse, you see a bold eagle with spread wings holding arrows and olive branches, a symbol of American strength and peace. Now let's fast forward to 1979. This was a year when millions of Washington quarters were minted, including at the Denver Mint, which placed the small d mint mark on the obverse, right next to Washington's ponytail. In total, over 489 million 1979 D quarters were produced. That's right, nearly $500 million. At first glance, this makes the coin seem extremely common. So why all the attention? Why would anyone suggest this coin could be worth over $1 million? Well, that's where the story gets interesting. First, let's be clear. Most 1979 D quarters are only worth 25 cents. Even in slightly better condition, they might go for a few dollars. But in the world of coin collecting, there are always exceptions. A small handful of coins, and we're talking extremely few, have been found in such pristine, uncirculated condition that collectors are willing to pay thousands. Some have even been graded at a near-perfect mint state 68 or higher. These coins are flawless under magnification, showing no scratches, bag marks, or wear. One such coin sold for thousands of dollars at auction. But how do we get from a few thousand to over $1 million? Let's talk about the $1 million claim. There have been stories circulating online that a 1979 D. Washington quarter sold for as much as $1.4 million. That figure has sparked curiosity, excitement, and, let's be honest, a lot of skepticism. So where did this number come from? The truth is, there is no verified public record of any 1979 D quarter selling for that much. Major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections, all of which handle the highest value rare coins, have never recorded a sale anywhere near that number for a standard 1979 D quarter. So what's the deal? Is it all hype? Well, in most cases, stories like this begin with a misunderstanding. A video goes viral or a post gets shared claiming a coin is worth $1 million without verifying the information. Sometimes these are based on theoretical values or unverified private sales that can't be tracked. Sometimes, people confuse a genuine mint error with a standard coin and assume they've struck gold. But with that said, there are a few reasons a 1979 D quarter could fetch a high price. Not $1.4 million, but potentially in the thousands. Here's what to look for. First, grade. If your 1979 D quarter looks uncirculated, meaning it still shines like it just left the mint and shows no signs of wear, it could be valuable. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with 70 being perfect. Anything MS-67 or higher is considered extremely high grade. A 1979 D quarter in MS-68 condition has sold for several $1,000s. But remember, the higher the grade, the more rare it is. Second, look for errors. Mint errors can drastically increase a coin's value. This includes things like off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, or even coins that were struck on the wrong type of metal. These types of errors are extremely rare, but do happen. If you see something unusual about your coin, maybe the lettering looks doubled, or the edge is missing, or the image looks shifted, it might be an error coin. These can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on how dramatic and unique the error is. Another thing to consider is collectability. Some collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins from certain years in perfect condition to complete a registry set. The 1979 D quarter in ultra-high grade is one of the tougher coins to find in top condition, which means there is always demand. But what about that $1 million price tag? At this point, it seems to be more myth than fact. There is no solid evidence that any 1979 D quarter has ever sold for $1.4 million. It's likely that the number came from misreported sales or overly optimistic internet speculation. However, the story has definitely captured people's imaginations. Because while the typical 1979 D quarter won't make you rich, the right one, in perfect condition or with a unique mint error, just so what should you do if you have a 1979 D quarter? First, take a close look at it. If it looks brand new and has sharp details, no wear, and strong luster, it might be worth grading. You can submit coins to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, who will evaluate and grade your coin and certify its authenticity. Graded coins tend to sell for higher prices, especially if they're in top condition. Second, compare your coin to others online. Look at recent auction results for 1979 D quarters in similar condition. See what collectors are actually paying. And third, stay realistic. Most coins from this year are common and won't be worth more than $1 or $2, even in decent shape. But the excitement of the search, the possibility of finding that one rare gem, is what makes coin collecting so addictive. That to wrap this up, the 1979 D Washington quarter is a fascinating coin with a lot of history. It might not make you a millionaire, but in the right condition or with a rare error, it can be worth much more than face value. And who knows, maybe one day, a unique example will surface that truly is worth a fortune. Until then, check your change, dig through your old coin jars, and keep hunting. Because you never know what you might find out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin facts and collector secrets, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or have questions about one in your collection. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like this adapted for voiceover pacing, split into visuals, or formatted for use with subtitles and on-screen text. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that has captured the curiosity of collectors and casual viewers alike. It's the 1997 P Washington quarter. You might have one in your pocket right now or sitting in a drawer somewhere at home. But what if I told you that there's a story floating around that one of these coins could be worth as much as $1.1 million? That's right. A single quarter from 1997, with a face value of just 25 cents, being valued at over $1 million. Is this real? Is it just internet hype? And how do you know if the coin you have is special? Let's break down the history, the facts, and what you really need to know. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, it features the familiar bust of Washington on the front. The reverse, up until 1998, displayed a bold American eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath, symbolizing strength and peace. By 1997, the Washington quarter was still using this classic design, just 1 year before the introduction of the state quarters program, which would completely change the look and feel of the coin in 1999. So in many ways, the 1997 quarter represents the final years of a long-standing American design tradition. Now let's talk specifically about the 1997 P quarter. The P mint mark indicates that this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, over 595 million of these coins were struck. That is a massive number. On paper, That makes the 1997 P quarter one of the most common modern quarters out there. You can still find them in circulation, in coin jars, and in change from a vending machine. So here's the big question. Why are some people saying this coin is worth over $1 million? This claim has been making the rounds on social media, YouTube videos, and articles online. According to some of these reports, a rare 1997 P quarter supposedly sold for as much as $1.1 million. The story goes that a unique mint error or an extremely high-grade example made it an ultra-rare find. But is this true? Here's the truth. There is no official record of a 1997 P Washington quarter ever selling for $1.1 million. None of the major coin auction houses, not Heritage Auctions, not Stack's Bowers, not Great Collections, have ever reported a verified sale anywhere close to that figure. So where did this rumor come from? It most likely comes from internet speculation or someone misinterpreting a coin listing. Sometimes people list coins online for outrageous prices, hoping to go viral or get lucky with an uninformed buyer. Just because a coin is listed for $1 million does not mean anyone actually paid that amount for it. But that doesn't mean the 1997 P quarter is worthless. Far from it. There are still versions of this coin that can sell for a lot more than face value, depending on two key factors: condition and mint errors. Let's talk about condition first. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin that's graded mint state 67 or higher is considered near perfect. It has full luster, sharp detail, and absolutely no wear. Finding a 1997 P quarter in mint state 67 or better is not easy, especially one that hasn't been scratched, dinged, or worn down from years of circulation. If you do find one in this kind of condition and have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. In rare cases, coins in MS68 have sold for over $1,000. Now, let's talk about mint errors. This is where things can get really interesting and valuable. Mint errors happen when something goes wrong during the production of the coin. Examples include off-center strikes, double dies, planchet errors, clipped planchets, and even coins that are struck on the wrong type of metal. These errors are rare, and the more dramatic they are, the more valuable the coin becomes. Imagine finding a 1997 P quarter that was struck off-center by 50%, or one that has a doubled image on Washington's face or the lettering. These kinds of coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how rare and dramatic the error is. There are also rumors of experimental strikes. Coins accidentally struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or struck with unfinished dies. But those are even more rare and would need to be verified by a major grading company. So what should you look for in your own collection? First, check the mint mark. Make sure it's a 1997 P. That's the Philadelphia Mint. Second, examine the condition. If it's extremely sharp and looks brand new, with no scratches or dullness, it might be worth grading. Third, inspect the coin for any signs of unusual errors. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Look for off-center images, letters that appear doubled, extra lines, missing details, or any irregular texture or shape. If you think you've found something special, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade the coin, and certified coins tend to sell for much higher values. Now let's come back to the million-dollar story. Is a 1997 P quarter worth $1.1 million? As of now, no. There is no verified sale for that amount. But is it possible that an extremely rare and dramatic error, combined with perfect condition and high collector demand, could one day fetch a huge sum? Theoretically, yes. In the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. History has shown us that unexpected coins can explode in value when the right buyer appears, and the coin is one dash of dash a dash kinda so while the odds are slim, the hunt is still very real. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know when you'll stumble upon a treasure hidden in plain sight. To wrap up, the 1997 P Washington quarter is a very common coin, but certain versions in perfect condition or with rare errors can be worth real money. Not a million, but possibly hundreds or even thousands. Always keep an eye on your change. Treasure doesn't always come in gold. Sometimes it comes in copper and nickel. If you found this video helpful or just interesting, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin facts and money mysteries, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin or have one you want me to take a look at. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting and good luck on your next coin hunt. Let me know if you'd like to adapt this into a visual storyboard or shorten it for YouTube Shorts or TikTok-style content.